Depending on when you discovered this channel, there's a pretty good chance this game is the reason you're here. I've made 126 videos about Summertime Saga. 5 of the 6 most watched videos currently shown on my channel are from this series. And the 5 biggest episodes alone have earned roughly 1.84 million views. So when I say Summertime Saga helped build this channel, that isn't nostalgia rewriting history. The numbers are sitting right there. But this game is now almost 10 years old. Adult games have changed, visual novels have changed, the standard for artwork, animation, writing, and presentation has moved forward. And Summertime Saga has spent years rebuilding itself, while players continue waiting for its central story to be completed. So, after 126 videos and nearly a decade of development, I came back to answer one question. Is Summertime Saga still the king of adult games? Or are we keeping the crown on its head because we remember what it once meant? Hey, what's going on, everybody? Scavenger here. This isn't another normal Summertime Saga gameplay video. It isn't a walkthrough, an update reaction, or a list of everything currently available. This is a retrospective. I want to look at why this game became so important, how it helped shape this channel, what happened during its unusually long development, and whether it still deserves to be treated as a standard for the entire adult game genre. Because whenever a new adult sandbox game appears, one comparison still follows it. Is it like Summertime Saga? That tells you how influential the game has been. But influence and quality are not always the same thing. To decide whether it still deserves a crown, I'm looking at 5 things. Popularity and influence, characters and writing, gameplay and world design, development progress, and how it compares with modern games. And by the end, I'll give you my actual answer. Not the nostalgic answer, not the angry, this game takes forever answer, the honest one. The first public demo of Summertime Saga version 0.01 was released on August 18th, 2016. That original demo already included a world map, the school, and a handful of recognizable characters, but it was tiny compared with what the game would eventually become. The artwork was simpler, the town was smaller, many of the routes people associate with the game either didn't exist yet or were only beginning to take shape. But the foundation was already there. He played as a young man dealing with the death of his father, financial problems, his future, and a criminal mystery that gradually expanded beyond his home. Alongside the central story, the game allowed you to move around town, meet different characters, improve your stats, earn money, unlock locations, and follow multiple storylines. That might not sound revolutionary today. Maps, inventories, relationship systems, and side activities are common in adult games now. But Summertime Saga helped popularize the idea that an adult game could be more than a straight line from one conversation to the next. It gave players a town. It gave them choices about where to go, and it made them feel as though another secret character or storyline was always waiting around the corner. Most importantly, it gave them characters they remembered. Even people who haven't touched the game in years can probably name their favorite route. That kind of recognition is difficult to build. Maintaining it for almost a decade is even harder. When I started covering Summertime Saga, I wasn't looking at it as the beginning of some major turning point. I found an interesting game, started playing it, and uploaded the experience. That was basically the entire strategy. There was no master plan, and there was no spreadsheet predicting that I would eventually make 126 videos on one game. I kept playing because I wanted to know what happened next. And then people started watching. People had told me what I'd missed, they debated the characters, they recommended routes, warned me about decisions, and came back whenever another episode was uploaded. Eventually, Summertime Saga stopped being another game on the channel, and it became one of the channel's foundations. Part 52 passed 570,000 views. Another early gameplay episode reached approximately 418,000 views. Movie Night, Part 21, passed 380,000 views. Part 66 and 12 each went well beyond 200,000. Those 5 videos alone account for roughly 1.84 million views. And that doesn't include the other 121 episodes. I can't look at a statistic and tell you that every person who clicked became a long-term subscriber. But I can say that thousands of people first encountered Scavenger through this game. Some stayed for more Summertime Saga. Some followed me into other visual novels and mature games. Others eventually watched the reviews, streams, industry stories, and everything else the channel became. A large part of the community's history runs directly through this series. So yeah, I'm nostalgic about it. I don't think pretending otherwise would make this review more honest. The goal is to recognize the nostalgia without allowing it to make the decision for me. So, why did Summertime Saga become so much larger than most of its competition? It wasn't simply because it contained mature material. There were already countless games offering that. It became huge because the mature content existed inside a much larger experience. The town mattered. The school, mall, beach, hospital, trailer park, church, gym, dealership, pizzeria, and individual homes made the game feel like a place rather than a sequence of menus. You had to explore. You returned to locations at different times, you earned money, found objects, improved stats, and discovered how different routes connected. Sometimes that was genuinely engaging. Sometimes it meant wandering around town trying to remember which person wanted a book, or a wrench, or another delivery from the pizza shop. But it gave the game substance. The characters also had enough personality to become more than recognizable artwork. They had different problems, relationships, personalities, and roles within the town. Some routes were funny. Some attempted genuine drama. Others became completely ridiculous, but memorable enough that players still talk about them years later. The exaggerated, colorful art style also gave the game an immediate identity. You could see a character in a thumbnail and know exactly which game it came from. That's a level of visual branding most independent developers would love to achieve. The game was also available publicly at no cost, with supporters funding continued development through Patreon. That allowed an enormous audience to try it without making a traditional purchase, and that support remains unusually strong. As of this recording, the official Patreon has more than 36,000 paid members. Whether you love the game, hate the development speed, or haven't played it in years, that level of continued support cannot be ignored. Very few adult game projects have built a community at that scale. However, becoming the king creates a problem. Eventually, people stop comparing you with the games that existed when you began. They compare you with everything that came after you. And this is where the conversation becomes a little complicated. The game has now been in development for almost 10 years. For years, players received additional routes, characters, locations, and events. Then development shifted toward what became known as the tech update. The project currently offers 2 significantly different versions. The first public preview build arrived on May 31st, 2024. The developers described it as a first release using their new source code. It introduced widescreen presentation, higher resolution artwork, improved locations, new navigation systems, and a rebuilt technical foundation. It also launched without all the content from the old version, and old saves were incompatible. From a development perspective, I understand the decision. Old code can become difficult to maintain. A better foundation can support improved artwork, performance, animations, accessibility, and future systems. But from the player's perspective, the tech update initially felt less like receiving a larger game and more like receiving a prettier version with much of the familiar content missing. That's a hard thing to celebrate when people had already spent years waiting for the main mystery to continue. The developers can reasonably say, we needed to build the foundation to finish the game properly. Players can reasonably respond, we've been waiting for almost 10 years and the central story is still unfinished. Both statements can be true. Understanding why something takes so long does not mean that people have to enjoy waiting for it. The good news is that the preview version is no longer frozen at its initial tech update release. As of July 2026, the current version is Preview 13. It restored additional main story material through 2 reworked quests and 3 upgraded quests. It also added 2 original scenes, improved character artwork, and continued expanding the technical systems beneath the game. So the project is moving. The current team has also been releasing preview updates at a much more regular pace than the years leading up to the initial tech update. But the official comparison page still labels preview as containing limited content, while stable remains the version with the most material currently available. That tells you exactly where the project stands. The new foundation is actively improving. The old version is still the fuller game. Several parts of Summertime Saga still work remarkably well. The game still feels distinctive. The town, character designs, humor, and strange side stories give it an identity. A lot of newer games look technically impressive, but begin to blur together after you have played enough of them. Summertime Saga rarely has that problem. The size of the world remains impressive as well. Even when individual tasks become repetitive, there's still a satisfying feeling that another character, location, or storyline's waiting nearby. That sense of discovery is one of the reasons my original series lasted so long. There was always another thread to pull. The most recognizable characters still carry the game. Players didn't only follow one central storyline. They followed Debbie's route, Roxy's route, Eve's route, Mia's route, Jenny's route, Diane's route. That structure created several smaller audiences inside one enormous community. A higher resolution widescreen artwork is a legitimate improvement. The interface is cleaner, the game performs better, the rebuilt systems give the team more flexibility for future content, and yes, the red shorts survived the technical transition. Some traditions are apparently too important to optimize away. That said, other parts feel much older now. Some progression systems come from an era when repeating the same minigame several times was considered a meaningful way to extend a game. Training stats, earning money, waiting for specific days, and moving repeatedly between locations can interrupt the story's momentum. The newer versions offer easier options and stronger hints, but after 126 videos, I've personally paid my debt to the pizza delivery economy. The writing remains entertaining, but it's uneven. Some routes contain strong character moments and satisfying progression, while others feel more like collections of events than complete stories. You can also feel the difference between material created at different stages of development. That's understandable in a project written across nearly 10 years, but it makes the experience less consistent. The central mystery surrounding the protagonist's father was supposed to provide the backbone of the game, but because so much attention went toward individual routes and later toward rebuilding the technology, the main plot frequently became secondary. For a game this old, the fact that its central story remains unfinished is the strongest argument against calling it the uncontested king. A kingdom should probably have a completed road leading to the castle. Right now, portions of the road are still being surrounded by traffic cones. When Summertime Saga first exploded in popularity, very few adult games could match its combination of scale, accessibility, character recognition, exploration, and community support. Today, the competition's much stronger. Modern adult games can offer more cinematic presentation, detailed 3D art, more advanced animation, better sound design, more focused storytelling, stronger emotional consequences, meaningful branching decisions, complete stories with actual endings. Games like Acting Lessons prove that an adult visual novel could deliver genuine emotional weight. Leap of Faith pushed even further into personal drama. Being a Dick raised expectations for scale, presentation, and player choice. Artemis and other newer projects continue pushing artwork and cinematic storytelling forward. Sandbox games have also taken lessons from Summertime Saga and expanded on its formula. So, is Summertime Saga automatically the best written game today? No. Does it have the best visuals? No. The best animation? Nope. The most meaningful choices? Not really. What about the fastest development? Okay, I'm not going to insult your intelligence by pretending this one is close, but none of those answers completely removes the crown. Because being the king's not always about winning every category. Sometimes it means shaping the category itself. So, after all these years, is Summertime Saga still the king of adult games? Of course, but not in the same way it once was. At its peak, Summertime Saga was king because little else could match its combination of scope, accessibility, exploration, memorable characters, and community support. Today, newer games can beat it in almost every individual category. Some have stronger writing, some look better, some offer more meaningful choices, some tell complete stories with emotional consequences and endings players can reach before retirement. But no other adult game has duplicated the complete combination of recognition, influence, longevity, audience size, and cultural reach that Summertime Saga achieved. It remains the game people use as a reference point. It remains one of the first titles people discover when they begin exploring the genre. And it still has tens of thousands of paying supporters almost 10 years after its first demo. So yes, I believe Summertime Saga still wears the crown. It just no longer wears it because it's unquestionably better than every game surrounding it. It wears a crown because of the kingdom it created. For me, that legacy is personal. This game helped build my channel. It introduced thousands of viewers to Scavenger. It gave me memorable videos, ridiculous moments, unexpected successes, and enough material to create 126 episodes. I will always appreciate what Summertime Saga did for this channel, but appreciating the past doesn't mean living there forever. The adult game industry has grown far beyond one title, and exploring what the genre has become is exactly what the next era of Scavenger is going to be about. If Summertime Saga brought you to this channel, or this retrospective brought you back, don't stop here. I've created a playlist featuring the best adult games I've played, reviewed, and discovered since the series began. Some were influenced by Summertime Saga, others took the genre in completely different directions. That playlist is on the screen now. Go there next, see what the genre's become, and before you leave, answer this in the comments. Is Summertime Saga still the king? And if it isn't, which game deserves the crown? Once again, I'm Scavenger. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, as always, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
One more demo, one more scene, one more bro, what does this even mean? Monster girls in magic schools, fan service breaking all the rules. Steam page said, mature themes, that was underselling everything. But if the story's good and the art's okay, you know I'm gonna press play, but don't blame me. I just hit start, the plot got spicy and so did the art. We play loot games after